Alright, hello. Hey there. Hey, it's Jer. SD here, and I am your coach of the Seattle Pidgeots, and today we are bringing you IBL Season 6. So this is going to be my second draft league on the channel. IBL is the the draft league that I cooperate, and I've been in it for all 6 seasons. I uploaded season 4 of IBL onto YouTube back last summer. We have since had a season 5. I couldn't record that due to computer issues, OBS issues, I guess. And so we had the draft last weekend, and I decided, hey, I'm uploading Woods, so I might as well update y'all on the IBL side of things here. Just forgot to put the music on there a little bit, but whatever. So yeah, IBL Season 6 for your Seattle Pidgeots. We are coming for that chip, baby. Yeah. Okay. So, overview. Of course, 6th season. I'm one of the mods. I told you all this in Season 4, and a lot of you are in IBL who are watching this, so you don't care. I was picked number 5 out of 16 coaches. This is a 16 coach draft with 12 rounds, so 12 mods. As you can see, tier 1, tier 2, two tier 3s, 2 tier 4s, a tier 5, a mega pick, and then 4 mons that you can spend your points on. You get 400 points, and some megas will give you extra points because they're kind of not as good as the other ones. So important rules. This was a National Dex post DLC draft. So we are using mons and moves. Still no hidden power, still no pursuit, but moves like Hurricane on Zapdos, or Sphere on the Lotties, those are allowed. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy year. We allowed crazy things. We allowed Melmetal. We allowed Mega Lotties. We allowed Mega Alakazam with Nasty Plot. So scary stuff all around. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. Season 4, I think, was my favorite team out of all the IBL teams that I've ever had. And I knew that if I got a high draft pick, I wanted to pick Tapu Koko, because Tapu Koko got Stab Play Rough, which is physical in this generation, of course. Obviously, always physical, but it got it in the DLC moves, and also got access to close combat. So its physical sets are much better now. It's not just a Thunderbolt pivot anymore. It can definitely be a physical mon now, and I love that versatility. So, pick number 1, round number 1, we went with Tapu Koko, Electric Fairy, obviously huge speed at 130, setting up the electric terrain to boost its own Thunderbolts, and the addition of Play Rough and Close Combat was awesome. I've used it before, IBL Season 4, like I said. Didn't do great with it, but I think now that it's got a lot more power, I think I will be able to use it a lot better. There's no Z's in this league as well, by the way. No Z's, no Dynamax, just Megas. Alright, so pick number 2. This was like something like that. Went to 16, then 16 back to 1. So I had to wait 22 picks. And I got Rotom Wash. Solid defensive mon, of course. We all know what this does. It clicks Defog, it clicks Will-O-Wisp, it clicks Volt Switch, and it clicks Pain Split a lot of the time. Electric Water, of course. This was a tier 2 pick. Koko being tier 1, of course. And then this generation, in Generation 8, it got access to Nasty Plot, which is super cool. So if I want to run an offensive variant as well, it's still super bulky without investment. So I can run a Nasty Plot set as well. And yeah, 2 electric types right off the bat. Kind of weird, but you'll see. I don't have that much of the same types anymore after this. So yeah, electric water, solid defensive or offensive option, utility, defog, etc. Round number 3, so just 10 picks later, I snagged Hawlucha out of tier 1, so that's negative 180 out of my 400 points. Of course, Hawlucha gets on Burden, you put an electric seed on it, it doubles its speed. Barely anything can outspeed it after that. It gets Swords Dance, it gets Bulk Up, it gets Sky Attack, it gets Brave Bird, it gets Close Combat, it's Lucha. You see those all the time. And I've never done it before, and it seemed like a good option in such an offensively based draft like this was going to be. So pick number 4, we brought back another member of our Season 4 squad, and that was Tangrowth out of Tier 2, another 120 points used at this point, so I had 100 points left after 4 picks, but I wanted to get my big guys out of the way fast. So of course, Regenerator, with that insane bulk on the physical side, and great HP, you can run an Assault Vest. Obviously, I love this Pokemon. It's been documented many times that I love this Pokemon. It's my favorite draft lead Pokemon, I would say. It's just so good. So many things it can do. Leech Seed. It didn't get anything cool, really, out of the DLC moves, so to speak, but yeah, just solid Tier 2 defensive backbone here. Pick number 5. This is where DLC moves come into play quite a bit. So Blaziken, obviously no speed boost out of Tier 4. Pick number 5. Firefighting, 120 attack, 110 special attack, 80 speed. Decent bulk as well. Excellent typing offensively. And it gets Close Combat and U-Turn now as of the DLC. So that's awesome. Before it had to rely on High Jump Kick and didn't have a pivot move. It just had Baton Pass. Excuse me. So, super excited to get Blaziken. I think I could have gone maybe one more round with it not being sniped or anything. But no, I'm super happy with Blaziken. And it's an excellent Scarfer now with U-Turn. Yeah, basically. So pick number 6, I wanted to grab another defensive Pokemon. And I grabbed Miltank. Miltank is fat as hell. It gets thick fat, of course. It gets Sap Sipper if I need. Also gets Scrappy if you want to run an offensive variant. This was out of Tier 3, so this was my first Tier 3 pick. You can see 100 base speed is decent. Decently fast, especially for a Fatmon. But just a combination of Heal Bell, it gets Stealth Rocks, it gets Reliable Recovery, it gets Body Press now, and it gets Seismic Toss. And I wanted a Fatmon that can heal itself up, and just switch in on powerful Fire and Ice type moves. And even Grass type moves if I want to do that. So yeah, that was my first Tier 3 pick. Here in round 6. Round number 7, I grabbed my Mega. So, Mega Garchomp. No hidden power in Generation 8 means that Mega Garchomp, look at the bulk. Like, it obviously 170 attack is why you pick it. 115 defense, 95 special defense, 108 HP. It is fat, just naturally, and with no hidden power ice, surprising me out of the blue, doing 50% from like some random, I don't know, some random Celebi or something. It gets in and it hits hard. It's not the fastest at 92 base speed, but I can keep it at regular Garchomp at 102 if I need to do that. And it also gives me 20 extra free points in the end, which I could have used I had 100 points left, so this bumped me up to 120. So I could have picked two tier 4s in the end as my other 2 free picks, but I didn't. But yeah, my Mega Garchomp, super excited to use it. Didn't get anything cool in the DLC, but it gives me another Stealth Rocker, and it just hits incredibly hard. It punches holes with Outrage and Earthquake. So yeah, round number 8. So the Mega Lotties are both crazy good. They got Aura Sphere now, so Dark types are not a check really anymore. They're just insane. And both happened to be drafted to coaches in my division. So I drafted Spiritomb. Spiritomb was moved down to tier 5 this season because no one's drafted it. So we take that into account when changing tiers between seasons. And so nobody drafted Spiritomb for, I think, 3 seasons or something like that. So it's super bulky. Didn't get anything super cool in the DLC. I would have liked it to get like Shadow Claw or something. A good physical Dark type move or Ghost type move. It's got mediocre attacks for sure. Pretty reliant on stuff like Foul Play. But those insane defenses and excellent typing make it a real good check to fighting types and a real good check to psychic types. And I love Sableye as a check to Mega Gallade and Mega Medicham, both which weren't drafted. But the same typing here allows it. It doesn't have Recover, which kind of stinks, but it's much more bulky than Sableye is defensive-wise, and it gets Pain Split with base 50 HP. So against something with thick HP like a Mega Garchomp, for instance, you can recover off quite a bit and then hit it with something after that. It gets Will-O-Wisp, it gets Toxic, it has Pressure and Infiltrator as its abilities, and Ghost Dark is just an excellent defensive typing. And can be offensive, of course. It gets Calm Mind and stuff like that. Could be like a Rest Calm Mind set as well. So that was pick number 8. Pick number 9. This was kind of a throw-in, so this was not part of my original plan. Up to now, I had been basing this all off of the initial draft plan. Garbodor was not part of that, but I realized that the Mons that I was picking after Garbodor, and the Mons I had picked so far, I had rocks. Excuse me. I had rocks on Garchomp, and I had rocks on Miltank, and that was my entire hazards. So Garbodor gives me spikes and toxic spikes, and it gives me a grounded poison to absorb toxic spikes. And I love Garbodor. It's solid. It gets Explosion, it gets Gunk Shot, obviously a powerful stab move. It gets Pain Split as well. And it's just there to set up hazards or be annoying. Get rid of toxic spikes if my opponent wants to set those up, because my team is pretty grounded, as you'll see. Well, it's not that grounded actually, but I didn't have a grounded poison type in my draft. The one that I wanted to draft was Drapion. That got sniped just after I picked Spiritomb, I think. So yeah, Garbodor, solid member, utility mon with hazards for sure. Pick number 10. Now this is where some people might get thrown off here. Tier 5, Articuno, minus 60 points. Or 40 points in round 10. Articuno, it sucked until Gen 8. Because it is 4 times weak to Rock, and it takes 50% from Stealth Rocks when you switch in. But in Sword and Shield, they did this cool thing. They added an item called Heavy Duty Boots. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're fantastic. I love that item. It makes so many mons good that weren't good in the past. Articuno, amazing HP, plus special bulk, plus defense. Terrible defensive typing, but pretty good offensive typing, honestly. And it gets U-turn, it gets Blizzard, and Ice Beam, and Hurricane, and I think now it gets Weather Ball, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so another Devogger, and one that can abuse the heavy-duty boots to come in for free on Stealth Rocks and Defog, with excellent defenses that was not as good before in Gen 7 and in past gens because of that Stealth Rock weakness. And so I'm super excited to draft Articuno. It was one of the mons in my plan that I was super excited to get, and I got it in round 10 because at this point I was missing 2 free picks, one of which had to be a tier 4 or lower, and one of which had to be a tier 3. And then so I grabbed a tier 5. So with 2 picks after this, I had a tier 3 slot open and a tier 4 slot open, basically. So yeah, super good. Super happy with Articuno, I think. I think it'll be, obviously it won't get a lot of kills, but it'll be super useful. Pick number 11 out of tier 4, minus 60 points, using up the rest of my points, was Bronzong. Originally, this draft was supposed to be based around Metagross. I wanted to use Metagross. I loved its offensive typing. I loved its offensive abilities. The ability to have clear body, first of all, no Intimidate, no sticky webs, and being able to set up agilities, run a weakness policy, and have excellent banded priority if I wanted in Bullet Punch, but I didn't end up getting Metagross as it was drafted pretty early on in my draft. Sorry, had to pause there. But yeah, so Bronzong, super cool out of tier 4, great defensive typing, another rocker. Yeah, and gets 2 good abilities, which you can basically pick or choose which weakness you don't want it to have. Heat Proof and Levitate, obviously. And that filled up my free points. I have 20 left over, so I could trade a tier 5, either Spiritomb or Articuno if I wanted, or a tier 3. No, I can't trade a tier 3. But I could make stuff work, and I have extra points to move up if I wanted to make transactions later on. And then finally, another redundant typing, but out of tier 3, I could not decide on what I was going to get. And since I decided to get my steel type in Bronzong out of tier 4, I wasn't going to get a steel type. I was looking at Cobalion, I was looking at Durant out of tier 3. And this was obviously the last pick. So bad options, I guess. Yeah, so bad options out of tier 3, pretty much, that weren't redundant typings. So I picked Hatterene. Hatterene is the only Gen 8 mon on my roster, but it's super cool. It's so powerful, and obviously Trick Room Abuser, Bronzong, and it can set Trick Room. I don't think this team would be classified as a Trick Room team in any way, but Hatterene is super good under Trick Room. It hits hard, 136 base special attack, pretty bulky, and great offensive typing with Stab, Dazzling Gleams, and Psychics. Gets great coverage as well. Mystical Fire, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. So yeah, super happy with Hatterene. I mean, it's kind of a throwaway pick at this point because I just needed to fill that tier 3 spot, which was supposed to be Metagross, I guess, technically. But Bronzong brings that typing, the Psychic Steel, to the team. And Hatterene's super cool. It can definitely, it lives most hits, at least one of, and sets up a Trick Room. And not a lot can survive in that Trick Room. So it's cool, and yeah, I'm super happy with the draft. If we just kind of go back through it, You got Coco, you got Rotom Wash, you got Tier 1 free points Hawlucha, you got Tangrowth out of Tier 2, you got Blaziken, Miltank, Garchomp, Mega Tier 2, so plus 20 points, Mega Garchomp. You got Spiritomb as a Dark type, you got Grounded Poison in Garbodor, you got a good Defogger in Rotom Wash and now Uno. Bronzong, which is a solid rocker, very strong defensively. And then you got Hatterene, which is a slow Trick Room special threat, which I was kind of lacking. I had like Garchomp, Blaziken, Coco. Those are a lot of physical mons, Garbodor. And so Hatterene kind of shorts up that special attack, like kind of thing that I didn't really have outside of Tapu Koko and Rotom Wash. So yeah, that is my Season 6 draft for the IBL. I am JRSD, and I am your coach of the Seattle Pidgeots. And we will be having Week 1 versus my man Hihoshi, coach of the Dallas Tornadoes, I think this weekend. So Week 1 is starting this weekend, basically. And so we will have that for you guys probably on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And yeah, I'm super excited. Update for those Woods viewers. We've had for Week 3, we've had a scheduling conflict with Joe, who's our Week 3 opponent. He's got finals, of course. Everybody's got finals. Finals this month, I guess, basically. So he's not going to be available to play this week. So we're hoping to get it done next week, as well as my Week 4 battle for Woods and my Week 1 battle for IBL. So that'll be slick. And also in Woods, we traded, we made a trade. Let me just pull it up here quickly. It won't be on your screen, but we traded for Mawile out of Tier 5, just a small trade. Yeah, so I dropped Drifblim for Mawile for Week 3. And I hope Joe doesn't watch this, because he has some strong physical threats that Mawile helps with, and that's kind of what I was thinking there. So there's an update on Woods as well. Because I can't really make a team builder to explain that kind of stuff, because then he'll see it, because we haven't played yet, obviously, and we won't play for a bit. So yeah, Woods is still going to be uploaded on the channel. IBL is going to be uploaded as well. I don't know if I'd like to have a schedule where maybe one goes up one day and one doesn't, and one goes up the next day or whatever, but we'll see. I think it'll be fluid. I don't really take this too seriously. So thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, or if you're just catching this, hi, how's it going? Like and sub. I post draft league content sometimes. Yeah, and I'm not that good, so it's like if you're a beginner, you can like feel on par with me, because I suck. Anyway, peace. Bye. Shout out GlitchXCity for the background music. She's great.